Hi, I'm Craig, and I help veterans go from feeling stuck and unseen after service to living with confidence, connection, and purpose so that they can thrive in civilian life and relationships. Hey, vets and families, welcome back to the channel. This is Royal Rock Wellness, where we help you reclaim your purpose, strengthen your relationships, and live royally and live well. I want to take an opportunity to thank all of you who are watching, liking, and subscribing. I want you to continue to do that because we are going on a journey to make sure that you file your VA claim correctly, and then also that you have the tools and resources needed for you and your family to continue to live lives beyond service that are rich, powerful, enjoyable, and that you deserve. So, if you've received a DA decision and you believe it's wrong, then today's your day. We're going to give you a roadmap to filing a Board of Veterans Appeals claim. And this is using VA Form 10182. So, in this video, I'm going to teach you some things. I'll help you know what a Board of Veterans Appeals is and when to request one. I'll help you avoid costly delays by learning your options, timelines, and strategies. And then I'll help you boost your chances for veteran disability claim success by filing a BVA claim. This would be the last step in the process. Not to say you wouldn't continue to go for claims, but this would kind of be the last step in the process of the maturation of your claim. So really important to follow along. It should not be a very long video because hopefully most of you will have gotten the claim favorable claim success that you need before you get to the BVA step. But we're going to go over it anyway, just in case you need it. So I want you to empower yourself with knowledge and navigate the VA appeals process with confidence. So without further ado, let's get started. So when is a board appeal an option on your claim? So it's you can file within 1 year of a decision on an initial claim, which remember is filed by the VA 526EZ. A supplemental claim, which remember is filed by the VA 20 TAC 0995, or a high level review, which is filed with the VA 20 TAC 0996. Okay. And contested claims, you only have 60 days to appeal a contested claim. Remember, there are no two board appeals in a row for the same claim. And one of the things I didn't mention in the introduction is that we will also go over the specific form used as we've done with every other video. We'll go over form 10182 for BVA once we get to a particular part in this video. There's three types of board appeals. One is the direct review. This means there's no new evidence or hearing. This typically takes about a year or so. The other is evidence submission. You have to add new evidence within 90 days of application, and that generally takes about 550 days. So you're looking at about a year and a half, roughly. And then you can request a hearing. That means you meet with a veterans law judge via virtual video or in person, and that can take up to 730 days. Okay, so a lot of times the timeline that we're working with is what a lot of folks shy away from doing a BVA, and why they would want to do a BVA because there is a lot involved. Getting lawyers. Look how long it takes. Generally speaking, that's just a rough timeline. And then there's a lot of things that you have to do in between. But the quickest type is the direct review. But you have to figure out and make the determination as a veteran which option is right for you. If you're going to do a direct review with the no new evidence, that means your claim is strong. And honestly, it's the same theme and the same song that we've been singing over all of these videos. If your evidence is strong, that's when you're going to make the determination of what type of option review you'll do at BVA. So direct review, no new evidence or hearing. Evidence submission, that means you add new evidence. You have new evidence within that 90-day time frame that they give you, or you request a hearing to meet a veterans law judge. That's a long time, as you can see. It's over 2 years, so 2 years or more. So those are the three types of board appeals that you can do. And this will be very familiar to you, but there are 5 ways to file your BVA appeal. You can file it online at va.gov, which is the fastest and most efficient method. You can send it via mail, on the form 10182, which we'll go over in a moment, to that address there on the screen. You can do it in person at your regional VA office. You can fax the form directly to that number that's on your screen, or you can walk into a accredited VSO agent or attorney's office and you can file a Board of Veteran Appeals claim there. So the next thing I want to do is go over the form, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, family, here we are, and we are now going over the decision review request, board appeal, notice of disagreement. Now, notice on this form that it's set up just like the other forms. Decision review request, all of them from the supplemental claim form on are decision review requests. They're just named differently depending on what level you're at. If you're at the supplemental review, supplemental claim review, then you'll do that one. If you're at the board BVA review, then you'll do that one, and it's a notice of disagreement with the claim. Right? It's a very short form. It's only 3 pages, so we're going to go through the whole form again. Like I said before, this video is not going to be very long, but I'm going to walk you through this just so you can have a good understanding of the type of form you'll be filling out. And as always, notice the very first part is always the veteran's personal info. Part 1 is your name, your file number, date of birth. You'll notice this is fillable, right? This is fillable. Donald, first, middle, initial, Donald J. Duck, right? And Donald's going to put his, he's going to put his, make that larger for you guys. Donald J. Duck, he's going to put his, his social security number in there. And Sergeant Major Duck, I spelled that wrong. Sergeant Major Duck is going to file his claim. Okay, so that's the first part. Second part is the board review options. Now, remember, we talked a little bit earlier in the video about the options that you have at the BVA level, right? So let's read this one together. So block 10 says a veterans law judge will consider your appeal in the order in which it was received, depending on which of the following review options you select. Now, remember, we were talking a little bit about like the days that it takes for them, right? So look at 10A. It says direct review by a veterans law judge. I do not want a board hearing, and I will not submit any additional evidence in support of my appeal. See that there? Choosing this option often results in the board issuing its decision most quickly. Right? 10. That's 10 Alpha. 10 Bravo. Evidence submission reviewed by a veterans law judge. I have additional evidence in support of my appeal that I will submit to the board with my VA form 10182 or within the 90 days of the board's receipt of my VA form 10182. Choosing this option will extend the time it takes for the board to decide your appeal. And remember, on the first one, I had generally speaking, on the first one, it's you're looking at a certain amount of time. On the second one, you're looking at a certain amount of time. And on the third option, you're looking at 730 days. So 365, a certain amount of time, 730 days. And so the 90 days from receipt, and for 10 Bravo, it will still extend the time that the board has to look at your claim. 10 Charlie, hearing with a veterans law judge. I want a board hearing and the opportunity to submit additional evidence in support of my appeal that I will provide 90 days after my hearing. Submit additional evidence that I will provide 90 days after my hearing. You see that? Okay. That's the option where you want a hearing with a law judge. That judge is going to take that evidence and they're going to decide and they're going to issue a decision, which generally speaking becomes public with your name redacted. And it goes into the USCVA database and a BVA database. Okay. So choosing this option will extend the time it takes for the board to decide your appeal. Now remember, Bravo and Charlie extend the options. Okay. Bravo and Charlie extend the options. But Alpha says if you do it with no additional evidence, kind of like when you submit for a higher level review, if you believe that evidence is strong, submit with no additional evidence and you should get a decision back rather quickly. But there's no guarantee on the time limit. In 10 Charlie, you can do a central office hearing, which means I'll attend in person in Washington, D.C. A video conference hearing, I will go to a regional office, or virtual telehearing. I will attend using an internet connected device. Important, provide your email address and representative in part one. Okay. Now, part three, specific issues to be appealed to a veterans law judge at the board. Please list. And remember, this is kind of the same way on the HLR form. And it's very similar. It's a little similar too on the supplemental claims form. Remember, when you start from supplemental claim on up, you're talking about things that you disagree with. So please list each issue decided by VA that you would like to appeal. Please refer to your decision notice for a list of adjudicated issues. Adjudicated issues there. See that? All right. For each issue, please identify the date of decision and the area of disagreement. For example, service connection, disability evaluation, or effective date of award. Because you can challenge all of those things depending on um, what you feel is incorrect. Okay. And check here if you're including a request for an extension of time to file the VA Form 10182 due to good cause, and then attach additional sheets explaining why you believe there was a good cause for the extension. Okay, check here in this box right here if you're appealing a denial of benefits by the Veterans Administration. So it's either going to be here or here. All right. Specific issues. I'm not going to put an example on there like I did in the last video, but I think you guys get the picture and you get the idea. Get the idea. So for specific issues, you want to put the issue that you have a problem with, right? And you always want to attach. You always want to say, "Hey, listen, I've attached additional documentation. I have other evidence, right?" You want to connect it and trace it to something that's in your record, right? This is the form that's just going to be the quick overview of what they see, right? And you should have enclosures and attachments with all of the additional documentation that you need for that particular hearing. Okay, and so here's the certification statement, which you'll notice is the same. It's always the same. I certify that the statements in this form are true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. And then you'll sign and date. Information and detailed instructions for completing the decision review request board appeal. Now, notice this is our instructions that they happen to be more at the end now. Okay, so we are going to now go through all of these instructions so that you can be very clear on how to submit a board of veterans appeal. All right, guys, so now we're going to go over the information and detailed instructions for completing the decision review request board appeal. All right, notice of disagreement. You guys will notice that on or after February 19th, 2019, um, if you wish to appeal one or more issues to the Veterans Law Judge, that's when you use this form. You don't use it if you want to do something from the legacy part from before then. Okay. If you got any questions about filing the deadline of the case, contact your local representative. All right. When should I fill out the form? If you receive the decision or a higher level adjudicator with which you disagree, and you would like one or more issues to be decided by a VLJ, that's calling the Veterans Law Judge, you must fill out and submit this form. Okay, 10182. You can choose to appeal all or only some of the issues previously decided. However, only those issues that you list on this form, just like the other two forms, will be considered on appeal. All right, this gives you how long you have to submit, but we've already covered it on the slide. But this is a section on the actual form that it talks about. So SOC and SOC are legacy systems, right? And so it gives you the amount of time that you have if it's that. But you got 1 year here, okay? From the day your local VA office mailed the notice of decision, unless you're optimizing to the modernized review system. Opting into the modernized review system, okay? We'll test the claim. If you're one of multiple people claiming the right to the same benefit, your completed VA Form 10182 must be postmarked or received by the board within 60 days. That's on a contested claim, right? And it shows you that they're on the form. Now let's get to your options that you have. We've already talked about it, but here's option one. Is a direct review. That means no additional evidence. Your Veterans Law Judge and board team will review the issue you appealed. They're going to make a determination based on the evidence of record at the time of the decision. Same evidence, okay? Option two is, now this is the quickest one. Option two is evidence submission. That means you submit evidence. You got 90 days from the time you submit this form to turn in that evidence. Okay. Choosing this option, more time. And we talked about the time earlier in the video. Hearing request is the last option, and that means you actually are still submitting evidence, but you want to stand before the VLJ and the board to fight your case. Okay, you're going to do that via video, teleconference, or you're going to do that at a regional office, or you're going to go to DC and do it. But listen, guys, it says down here, if you don't, if you do not appear, the VLJ and the board team will review the evidence that you submit. Listen, if you say you're going to be there, right? Don't schedule a board appearance and then not show up. So, all right. So this is a very short form, only 3 pages, but I wanted to go over this form and let you guys know how it looks. All of this information down here is what we've already covered. They've got an overview of notice of disagreement form sections. They just flipped it and put all of the review at the end instead of the beginning. And where you check all of the boxes. This form is pretty much the same as we already talked about. Do certification and signature. And remember, the Privacy Act statement and the respondent burden are the same. And they're down at the bottom of the form. Familiarize yourself with that, because that is how the VA covers itself, and then how the veteran understands what their burden is. So I hope you got something out of this. This is a short review of the Board of Veterans Appeals Form 10182. And this is what you need to file a successful Board of Veterans Appeals claim. This form. Okay, guys, we're getting to the end of our video, close to the end of our video. So I will leave a link to this form in the description so that you can get in there, play around with it, and then when you're ready to file, you'll be overly familiar with it. But what do you expect at what are you looking to expect at the board hearing? You're going to bring new relevant evidence or submit your claim within 90 days after hearing. The judge is going to swear you in. It's conversation and Q&A, not a cross-examination, so you're not going to court for criminal charges or anything like that. Hearings last 30 minutes and they are transcribed for your records. You'll get a copy of it. Confidently, patiently, respectfully, and clearly tell your story. That's what we've been talking about the whole time. Okay. Let's look at BVA appeals in a nutshell. File within 1 year or 60 days for contested claims. We talked about that when we know the form. Choose your lane, whether you're doing direct review, evidence submission, or a hearing. Use the VA Form 10182 and keep your docket date if you are rescheduling. Okay. Now listen, I want you to take all the necessary steps for claim success. All right. Make sure you pick the right appeal type whenever you're filing a BVA. Okay. That appeal type needs to match the strategies that you've had for your claims the whole time. Right. Pick the one that's right for you. Right. Do a review to see how strong your evidence is, and that's what you should go by. Okay, if you want a quicker decision because you know you got everything, then go with that one. But if you know you have more evidence to collect and gather, go with that one. If you feel like you're gonna have your case will be stronger if you stand before a judge and express the terms of what's going on, and you get all your ducks in a row, then go with that option, a hearing request. But in all things, right, figure out which one is best for you and be confident and go with that option, because you do have rights and options. Okay. Track your case on va.gov. And when the VA sends you letters, make sure you respond quickly to that correspondence and to those letters, because they are all important. And read the instructions of every VA letter that you get. Okay. This is important, guys. I want you to use my free guides and my videos. And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to pump up business or anything like that. I really want to help veterans. And I really believe that, having navigated the system for myself and for my clients, I have a lot to give and a lot to offer for you guys. Okay. You can work with me directly for affordable help if you want. My email is craigc@royalrockllc.com. So I want to thank you for watching and for walking this journey with me through the VA claims process. It's been fun, explaining these things to you guys and helping you understand the process overall. If this video helped you understand the BVA process in any way, please like, subscribe, share with another veteran who might be ready to take that next step. Okay, so from the intent to file to the BVA, the series was designed to help you and empower you with clarity and confidence and compassion. So I want you to use the official VA resources like M121 and 38 CFR to guide you along the way. And I'll always be here making videos to help you if you need it. Your story matters, your benefits matter, and your healing deserves to be honored. Okay, keep reclaiming your purpose, keep living royally, and keep living well. And I'm going to let you guys know you matter so much. Okay, I appreciate all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. And don't let this be your identity. Okay, don't let this VA claims process be your identity. Okay, know who you are, understand whose you are, right? And you'll be just fine. Okay, live royally, live well, and I'll see you on the next video.